enjoined the fees that USCIS was going to increase. I'm going to explain in a second. How's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Josh coming at you with some really good news, some great news, and some important news. As you know, USCIS has decided, under the Trump administration, has decided to raise the filing fees for immigration cases considerably. These fees were scheduled, these higher fees were scheduled to go into effect on October 2nd. So my office and I have been working our tails off to try to get everybody's green card and citizenship and other applications filed right away before those new filing fees come into play. We've been working really hard at it. They even started charging people. By the way, the Trump administration even wanted to charge people $50 to apply for asylum. I think $50 is more than Donald Trump pays in taxes most years. But anyway, they had all these fees that have been increased starting October 1st. The filing fee for naturalization to become a U.S. citizen was scheduled to go up nearly 100%. And a federal district court, U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California, just came out with a ruling enjoining USCIS from implementing the higher fees. So the court blocked the fee increase from USCIS. This is a national ruling, so it applies even if you're not in the state of California. And one thing to keep in mind is that one of the elements for preliminary injunction is a temporary injunctive relief. It's a temporary ruling that allows the court to block, to make a decision while the case is pending. And one of the elements of a preliminary injunction is likelihood to prevail on the merits. That means that the judge in this case was convinced that USCIS should not be able to increase its filing fees by this amount. Now, I didn't follow this case super closely. I don't know what the legal reasoning in this case was, what the basis was. Maybe it was some violation of the procedures for how fees are, these new fees were put into a place, or maybe there was some argument about the fairness of the fees. To me, it's fundamentally obscene to charge people a fee to apply for asylum. To me, that doesn't make any sense at all. So I don't know if they made these arguments or if these are the arguments that the judge locked onto and used as reasoning for granting the preliminary injunction. But nevertheless, I can tell you that the filing fee increases are no more, at least for the time being. And I think that's great news. It's great news for everyone that's scrambling around, and it's great news for anyone who believes in fairness, justice, the American way, and believes that immigrants should be treated fairly and should be treated reasonably under the law. This is great news. And if you have been thinking about applying for a green card or for applying for citizenship or one of these other immigration benefits, you are trying to scramble around to meet the deadline and you didn't make it, then this gives you a little bit of a reprieve. You get a second chance to do it over again. It's like if the teacher tells you can turn in your term paper late or your book report late. That's good news. So I just wanted to bring that news to you. Do you have any questions about these rulings? We have one of our friends from Periscope, Johannad, I don't know how to say that. What does it say about the fee waivers? I do not know. I do not know about that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the ruling addressed that. I read it quickly. I didn't follow the whole case. So we have another question from Jihan and Hawar. First of all, thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for asking me a question. It's not about the fee increase, but I'll take my time to answer your question anyway. It says, hey, Josh, question. I filed for a K-1 visa, but he was not given a visa. Case came back to USCIS for review. While it was in review, I decided to get married and filed an I-130. I've not received an NOA-2. I'm not exactly sure what an NOA-2 is. This is a term that a lot of people use. They pick up from these Facebook groups and different fora, and I don't really know what it means. But if you filed the I-130 and you got a receipt notice that shows that the application was received and the fee was paid, and it says I-797 receipt notice at the top, then your case was received. It's under review. NOA-2, maybe it means that the case was not approved yet. I don't know. But anyway, one thing I want to tell Jihan is that I think you're doing the right thing. If your K-1 visa was sent back to USCIS for revocation, I always recommend that people refile their case, whether it's if it's a fiance visa, if you go ahead and get married and then refile the case, I think that's a good plan. Or if you have a fiance visa and you just decide to refile the fiance visa, either one would be a good idea. And Jihan says she's not received an approval. Well, usually those take 6 to 8 months, maybe a little longer. I hope you get your approval soon. And if your case has been pending for a year or more, if you filed the I-130 and then a year or more has passed and you still don't have an approval, then I think you should reach out to me and I can help you out with this. I really wish, Jihan, I really wish you the best of luck, and I want you to give me a shout if I can do anything at all to help you. The big message of the day, those filing fee increases from USCIS are on hold, probably not going to be implemented, and I think this is wonderful, wonderful news. I'm going to see if I can share. I don't think I can share my screen directly. Let me just see. Let me just see here if I can share. I can't seem to share my screen directly, but nevertheless, that's true. Here we have Benito Juarez. Thank you for asking your question. Can the government appeal the decision? Yes, the government can appeal the decision. This is always possible. But the case, it stayed during these proceedings. So it's unlikely that there'll be, I mean, I guess we just have to follow the litigation, but I don't think there's going to be any kind of anything new in the meantime. So this is great news. Benito, I recommend that you just file your case as soon as you can. If you need help, give me a shout or post your question on here. Anthony Bello, well done, sir, for your good information on the public. Well, I'm happy to give you these updates and information. Gail, I'm a huge fan of Gail. Good to hear from you. Good to see you chiming in. I hope this is helpful. One thing I want to tell you is just to mention while I'm waiting for more questions, I changed the name of my YouTube channel to Immigration Station. I like the rhyme of it, and it's intended as a place for people to come together for information and for news and updates like this. I wanted to make it less about me and more about you, and hope that name conveys that. But if you have any questions, reach out to me, hit me up, let me know. This is great news. There's not a lot of good news these days, but it's great news that the filing fees are going to stay lower for a little while. That gives some relief to people. It's bad enough that you have to pay $725, but to make it more than $1,000 for naturalization is painful. And that's how people become citizens and assert their right to vote. So I think that that's really something that we should be skeptical. Ashiana, nice name. I like the name Ashiana. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Well, if anybody has any questions, hit me up. But the big news of the day is those filing fee increases that were going in on October 2nd will not be going in for the time being. That's all I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Watch all my videos. Watch my videos if they're helpful. And hit me up if I can help you out. Thanks.